In the quaint town of Willowbrook, nestled amidst the rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a young couple named James and Emma. They had recently decided to move closer to Emma's new job in the nearby city and found a charming apartment in a historic building downtown. Little did they know their journey into the world of leasehold estates was about to unfold. James and Emma signed a lease for their apartment, which was a classic example of a tenancy for years. This type of lease specifies a definite beginning and end date, regardless of how long the term actually lasts. In their case, they signed a 1 year lease starting from September 1st. As they settled into their new home, Emma couldn't help but admire the high ceilings and intricate moldings, while James set up his workspace near the large bay window overlooking the town square. The couple was thrilled with their new adventure. Meanwhile, across town, Mr. Thompson, a retired teacher, rented a cottage near the river. His lease was an example of a periodic estate, where the lease continues for successive periods until either the landlord or tenant gives proper notice to terminate. Mr. Thompson's lease renewed automatically. He enjoyed the serene views of the river from his porch swing, and often spent his mornings painting the picturesque landscapes that inspired him. Not far from Mr. Thompson's cottage, there was a small cabin owned by Mrs. Patel. She allowed her niece, Sarah, to stay there temporarily while she attended college in Willowbrook. Sarah's living arrangement was considered an estate at will because it was based on the mutual consent of both parties without a specific lease term. Mrs. Patel could ask Sarah to leave, or Sarah could decide to move out whenever they agreed upon. Sarah loved the cozy cabin nestled into the woods where she could study undisturbed and take long walks along the forest trails during breaks from her studies. One day, in the heart of Willowbrook, the local bookstore owner, Mr. Reynolds, found himself facing an unexpected situation. A tenant who had rented a small space behind the shop had failed to move out at the end of their lease. Despite multiple reminders, the tenant remained in possession of the space without any formal agreement and stopped paying rent. This scenario represented a tenancy at sufferance, where a tenant holds over past the expiration of their lease without the landlord's consent. Mr. Reynolds had to follow legal procedures to regain possession of his space, which included issuing notices and possibly seeking eviction through the court if necessary. As the stories of James and Emma, Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Patel, and Mr. Reynolds unfolded in Willowbrook, they showcased the various facets of leasehold estates, from the structured timeline of tenancy for years to the ongoing nature of periodic estates and the flexibility of estates at will to the complications of tenancy at sufferance. Each type illustrated different rights and responsibilities for both landlords and tenants.